Hey Laparinos, Avi from Of Science and Swords with a bit of a review of the new Stronghold weapons from Epic Armoury. I'm really sorry about the constant interruptions during this video, guys. Between the phone, the couriers, and me being the only person here at the moment because of COVID-19, this kind of feels like it's been edited together like a Philip DeFranco show. What's up, you beautiful bastards? I'ma throat punch you. Hey, news. I am aware how absolutely crappy everything is right now, and some of you may be thinking that this video is not appropriate, and I want to quickly reach out to you guys and just say, look, we all need a little bit of normalcy in our lives, and we all need a little bit of something to look forward to, and if I can maybe provide that by giving people a quick glimpse of something that they have to look forward to when all this finally blows over, then I feel like I am doing my part. You're welcome to disagree with me in the comments or by private email, info@epicarmoury.com.au. Let's jump right into it then. So, first up, Drekkie blades. We've got the two lengths and the two colors. We've got the gold in the short, and we've got the silver in the long. These are just absolutely beautifully detailed. Let me just pop that down for a second. I'll just bring this up to camera and you can see. So this entire hilt section here is injected polyurethane, and you can see it's just been absolutely beautifully detailed painting work. You know, we've got the gold filigree going on. We've got a ricasso point that's designed to look like leather. One of the things about these new Stronghold weapons is that they actually do have a weighted hilt. So there is a proper balance point in the sword. It's supposed to balance right there. It's pretty close. They actually swing really nicely because the polyurethane on these swords is decent to grip. But let's talk about the hilt. The hilts are pretty comfortable. Obviously, I'm going to go through the other models in just a minute. But you'll find that being polyurethane, it is just a little bit on the sweaty side. So some of you out there may actually wish to get some leather wrap, maybe some tennis tape, just scuff it up a little bit with a little bit of sandpaper just so it's got a bit more of a rough texture. It's not quite as smooth as the hybrid handles were. That got quite smooth, particularly when you were sweaty. Something that some of you may have some issues with, and it's not a major issue, but just be aware of it. Now, the Epic Foam Blade. So these are a shot expanding foam. They are really quite nice and soft, but they still actually have a fair bit of resilience when you get right down to it. So soft, 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 very, very firm. The other new development in the longer Stronghold lines is a core that ends there, and then tube tip, tube tip, tube tip, to about there. So you've got that much space of tube tip so that the sword actually gently bends out of the way when you thrust at somebody. These swords are going to be remarkably thrust suitable. Obviously, over time, given enough thrusting, they're going to break. We haven't done any internal testing yet because we've only just gotten these. We will do some of those videos. We'll have some answers for you regarding like how much you can thrust with it. But considering that it is actually intentionally designed to bend away, and if you sort of have a look, you'll see that the curve is not 90 degrees. That takes a lot of stress off the foam and off the tube tip, which means that it's actually considerably less likely for the foam to finally tear. In terms of how it feels when you're taking a hit, you probably heard the whoosh, you definitely heard the bang hitting my leg. Not bad. The foam actually takes a hell of a lot of the impact. All right, moving on. What else have we got? This is my absolute favorite one, the new Marauder Blade. Unfortunately, the ricasso point is not exactly usable on this one. Ow, ow. The same issue with any of the swords that you would expect from, say, like Elder Scrolls Daedric line. They're just hideously impractical weapons. So evil. But this grip actually is very, very comfortable because if we just sort of bring it in close, you can see that there are some ridges that naturally your fingers just curl around. Again, we've got another blade that is very nicely weighted. And actually, the really weird thing about the Marauder sword, now that I am swinging it, is that it doesn't feel like a choppy sword. It actually, the way that the tip goes and the almost pistol grip shape of the hilt right there, kind of makes it feel more like a rapier in my hands. Ooh, just how beautiful are these spikes? Unfortunately, I don't have a short one to show you, but the difference is that this section of the blade is basically deleted, and you just go hilt sword. Next, whoa, the knightly. Very, very nice basic sword. I actually reckon that this is very, very similar to the Calamasil novice in its handling. You've got a nice medallion style pommel, which allows you to basically use the sword like that, flick it out. So for those who are in games that it's a point of contact rather than a realistic blow, or if you just sort of like need to flick out to get somebody in that point of contact, these swords are going to be absolutely fantastic for that. They've got a very, very comfortable grip. They've got a very nice understated look, so they'll work for basically any human-centric character. And then they're just really, really nicely weighted as far as a LARP weapon goes. About the point of contact hit, if you're just flicking around like that, the way that the foam actually now manages to take a lot more punishment, this is going to be an absolutely great my first sword. Let's talk a little bit more about the cores. One of the other new developments in the new Stronghold line is actually an ovoid shaped core. So this takes a lot of the stress off the core when you are striking at different angles. Basically, you get a lot less flex out of that than you do out of the flat. That's going to end up where you don't have swords that have that ridiculous 90-degree bend. A lot of LARP swords do end up getting, particularly if you watch the footage in slow motion. And I'm aware that real swords, real weapons have a lot of flex in them, but they don't have the amount of flex that a LARP sword tends to. So flexing versus blah, it's going to actually work out a lot better for the durability of your weapons. You're going to get a lot more durability out of these weapons thanks to this new core design. Next sword. Ooh, we've got the arming sword. I really like this blade. I mean, again, it's not quite as understated as the knightly, but it's still very, very simplistic. It's available in a gold version as well. It's just really, really easy to handle. Basically, it goes with you for those nice big epic swings, and you've got the ricasso point, so if you do want to two-hand the sword, it actually just works perfectly. You've got the ability to thrust with it because it's got that new tip on it. You can even do the part where you grab the pommel and flick. What I really like about the arming sword is that it actually has this ricasso point that is done absolutely beautifully, and I don't think any of the other Stronghold range quite matches it, except for what I'm going to show you at the end. But yeah, you've got this fantastic, be able to block, bring it in, thrust. Now, if getting down and dirty like the arming sword allows isn't quite your thing, we've got the new Highborn Sword. Ooh, so regal. I'm being really facetious, but actually seriously check that detail. Oh my God. You got this nice filigree work here on the ricasso. Unfortunately, this is the part that disappears when you get the short version. This absolutely lovely crossguard section that would not look out of place in your favorite JRPG is there on the short version, and it just continues through until you get to the end with all of that lovely detail. Now, this sword, unlike the others that I've previously shown you, actually does come in a range of colors. There is a gold one, and then very manly Sephiroth. Well, not quite Sephiroth. Maybe Final Fantasy VI. Maybe, yeah, I could see Kefka wielding the sword. And the absolutely beautiful thing about the dark version is that black, 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 black. Ooh, shiny. It's corrupted. Ooh, so evil. Another sword that's actually got a functional ricasso point. So you can actually still, kerblock, kerslash, kerstab. I don't know why I'm adding a K in front of all of this. They really should have used that shtick for the knightly. I would advise against hilt bashing with these. And last but not least, everybody's favorite sword. Everybody loves a bastard. Did somebody say a bastard? Just look at that detailing. We've got, once again, the artificial leather in the polyurethane section. Again, this is the section that disappears in the shorter version. And just look at that hilt. You've got that, you've got that, this sword gives you so much versatility in maintaining or decreasing the range with your enemy combatant. So again, block, slash, stab, or use it as a two-hander or a one-hander or as a really long sword. Hey. I gotta admit, having the camera this close makes it very, very difficult to be able to swing better. Golden bastard, how special does that look? And again, much like the dark Highborn, you've got the color gradation along the blade. It would be so cool if this section could actually be done out of the same epic foam as the rest of the blade, because then you'd actually finally have one of the new Stronghold lines that you could hilt bash with. I don't know, maybe an idea for future. So those are all of the new Stronghold weapons that Epic Armoury are releasing on the 27th. And don't forget that if you actually pre-order prior to close of business on the 27th, you do actually go into the running for the very, very last Dark Elven Stronghold that we could find. So if I can just be serious again for a little bit of a moment, I just want to say that times are really, really tough, guys. But whilst the store here is closed, the website is still open. We are maintaining a fastidious level of hand washing, and if we all just pull through this together, hopefully by year's end, we will once again be able to see all of you on the battlefield.